disgrace, and don't you try bullying me.
Oh, hello, Mr. Brett.
Don't just stand there. Damned anarchist!
Oh, Renfrew? Well, I thought he was the kind of foreman you like, Frank. You know, short-haired, obsequious.
I was wrong. I'm human. Look at those. Complaints. Threats of legal action.
Against Renfrew?
Against the product, the Princess Grace Kitchen Unit.
Good Lord.
Odd niggles, I don't mind. One gets used to odd niggles, but we are hitting a new low. Edwin. I'm not too bothered about those foul strips of decoration peeling off or even the odd handle coming loose. After all, a kitchen unit isn't something you hand down to your children, is it? But I get uneasy when the shelves collapse. People put things on shelves, Edwin. Cups and things, and they get angry when they're all smashed to pieces on the floor because the shelves collapse.
I don't blame them, Frank.
And I get angry, Edwin. And Munich gets apoplectic.
Well, understandable, Frank.
And it's all because of bonding. I mean, in the old days, we used screws, didn't we? I mean, maybe they didn't always go in straight. Maybe the occasional housewife did lose the occasional fingernail, but at least the damn thing didn't fall apart. Those were the good times, Edwin. When you and I were young, bits of wood stayed where you put them. Screws weren't good enough for Munich, oh dear me, no. Super bonding resin was going to build heaven on earth. Cheap, efficient, quick, manufactured by a wholly owned subsidiary.
I don't understand it, Frank. I mean, we've never had bonding bother before.
That's exactly what Munich says, and that makes me even angrier.
Why?
Because it's true.
Oh.
I said to them, your damn glue isn't sticking anymore. Do you know what they said?
I'd rather hear it from you, Frank.
They said I needed a holiday. Me, a holiday.
Oh, with all the nerve.
25 years in the ready-made kitchen unit business, and they tell me I'm gaga.
What about the other plants, Frank? Have they ever had any bother?
No.
Oh.
Only us.
Oh.
Which is why I had Renfrew in.
Yes, I see.
You see, either Munich are sending us rotten resin, or Renfrew and his drunken crowd of Morris dancers aren't doing their job properly.
That is unlike Renfrew, Frank.
Unlike, my point is, if there is going to be a roughhouse, then Renfrew is more my weight. That's why I called you in.
Yeah, Frank, what exactly did you have in mind? I mean, the word roughhouse suggests...
Exactly.
Oh, no, Frank. Oh, dear. No. I mean, I'm not saying, Frank, that Renfrew is popular or anything like that, but the unions will be honor bound to react.
Even if he was proved to be incompetent, or possibly in the pay of the Yokohama Pretty Kitchen Furniture Company?
Oh, yes, I'm afraid so, Frank. It's all for one and one for all.
What are you doing on Friday?
What do you mean, apart from driving into work, working, and driving home from work, and then doing the work that I take home with me?
Yes.
Not a lot.
Good. I'm thinking of having a few friends in, drinks, nuts.
Oh.
Here.
What?
In this office.
Oh.
After all, who wants to drive all the way out to Chorley Wood just to eat nuts?
Yeah, quite.
Oh, and, Edwin, don't say too much around the building, will you? I'm not inviting the rabble. Just this, management trainee woman. Sort of refugee from Valhalla. Oh, and, tell Melissa not to dress up. Quite informal.
Yes, right, I'll tell her now, Frank. Oh, Frank, if you mean my wife, her name's Monica.
I've got Melissa written down here.
Good Lord, yes, so you have. Oh, perhaps it's Melissa you're really after, Frank.
You haven't got two wives, have you?
No, Frank, just the one.
That's what I thought. You sure it's Monica?
Yes, I'm pretty sure, Frank.
Start at 6:30 sharp.
Yes, right you are. Frank, this do. I mean, is it going to be, you know, into the early hours of the morning, or...
How should I know? If it's as boring as the last party I gave, we'll all be home by 7:30.
Yeah, excuse me?
There! Look, for God's sake, I can't do two jobs at once.
What? I'm sorry. Do you know what this stuff is?
What stuff?
This stuff in these cans is bonding resin. And it's what we use to glue our shelves together with.
It's nothing to do with me. I'm transport.
Yeah, my point is, you can't use bonding resin as goalposts.
Why?
I don't know why. All I do know is that if it was to be used as goalposts, it would have bonding resin to be used as goalposts written on it. And it hasn't. You see, no, when I was at school and we were going to play football, we just put down a couple of coats, each side as goalposts. I mean, we would never have thought of using very expensive bonding resin as goalposts. All the way from Munich.
So what are you going to do about it?
Well, I'm afraid I have to tell you that you cannot use these drums as goalposts.
Oh, I see. Come on, lads. Let's go and find Blundell.
No, look, I didn't say you couldn't play football.
We always used to keep it in the old glue shop, do you remember?
The old what shop?
What's now the workers' restroom? Before there was a workers' restroom.
Oh, yeah, we had to move it out of there because the workers didn't have room to play poker.
Yeah, so then we decided to put the drums of resin in the old carpenter's shop.
Because we didn't have any old carpenters. Jolly good thinking, that, you know?
So we couldn't use the old carpenter's shop, could we?
No, because of that beastly great padlock on the door.
No, because of the corrugated iron.
Oh, yeah. When the roof blew off the dispatch bay.
Yeah.
That ghastly gale.
Exactly.
It's not still there, is it?
Well, of course it is.
What do you mean, of course it is?
Well, we had to hang on to it, didn't we? Insurance and all that.
Well, not forever, surely.
Yeah, but a ton and a half of rotten, beaten-up corrugated iron's not the easiest thing in the world to dispose of.
Granville, there are firms that do that sort of thing.
Yeah, let's change the subject, shall we?
Why change the subject?
Books.
I don't want to talk about books.
No. Problems. What the eye doesn't see. And all that.
You mean there are violins in the old carpenter shop? Oh, secret violins.
Fiddle.
Yes, fiddle. Fiddle?
You don't have to worry about me, Mr. Walker. I know all about the corrugated iron.
What?
I was working in the chief accountant's office at the time. It was like something out of James Bond until after the audit.
Look, I don't want to appear nosy, but will somebody please tell me what I'm talking about?
The company balance sheet showed a total of £5,772 for the collection and disposal of a load of old rubbishy corrugated iron.
You mean the corrugated iron, and even now...
It's a very difficult financial year.
Do you mean to say we've cooked the books?
No. Not cooked. Just warmed them through a little.
Good heavens! Is that why there's a padlock on that door?
Yeah.
I see. Good heavens! Right, where were we?
With the resin in the yard being used as goalposts.
Well, how long's it been there?
Well, about 6 months.
That is thoroughly irresponsible of you, Granville.
Well, don't get cross with me. Is there else to put the rotten stuff?
Come in. Oh, hello, Mr. Blundell.
Just a quickie, Mr. Thornfield.
Good.
Recreation. Apparently you showed the red card to 4 of my members.
Oh, no, Mr.
Early
Blundell.
bath and all that. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Thornfield, but that sort of thing goes down like a bucket of mud with my members.
Look, all I did...
Young Ronald Fairbrass daily signed forms for Darlington, you know. And if he doesn't kick a ball about at least once a day, he feels as if life has passed him by. And it seems you made some offensive remark about coats, personal articles of clothing, for goalposts. Have you seen the state of that yard?
I didn't. All I
Now,
did...
my members are not school children, Mr. Thornfield. They're highly skilled, responsible adults, with wives and families and allotments. And your paternalist stance has caused some distress in the locker room.
It wasn't...
However, I have managed to smooth the whole thing over. I've got you off the hook, so to speak. I've apologised on your behalf, and I believe we shall hear no more about it.
Oh, thank you.
No, I'm not looking for thanks, Mr. Thornfield. You know me better than that. Just a quiet life. Well, I'll be getting back now.
Young Fairbrass does have a very cultured instep.
That is not only ridiculous, it is revolting.
15-2, 15-4, 2 for smelly socks, and 3 for a Chinese run makes 9.
Hang about. 2 for smelly socks.
The king and the queen looking at one another.
But where does it say that in the rules of cribbage?
It's how we play it at school.
I don't care how you play it at school, Robert. Nowhere in the rules of cribbage does it say anything about smelly socks. What's all this Chinese run bit?
Oh, that's odd numbers. 1, 3, 5. A Chinese run.
Robert, 1, 3, 5 is not a run.
It is at our school.
I often wondered what you did between 9 o'clock in the morning and 4 o'clock every afternoon, and now I know. You go around tearing down the fabric of civilization as we know it. You go around destroying things that man has striven for 1,000 years to achieve. Why don't you go out and rewrite Shakespeare or paint a red nose on the Mona Lisa?
Don't be so pompous, Edward. It's only a game.
Cribbage is not only a game, Monica. Cribbage is a sacred trust, handed down from father to son.
Ha! Not this son.
I'm amazed. I really am amazed. I mean, it just shows you what this country is coming to, doesn't it? I mean, there, you see, there you have it. You have trains running without buffet cars, when there is a little picture of a cup and saucer clearly marked on the timetable, and you've got the women's movement, got footballers using glue as goalposts.
What?
Tins of glue as goalposts. I mean, it's totally beyond my comprehension.
I think I'm going to bed.
Coward.
It is a great wonder to me that Robert isn't more neurotic than he is.
Good night.
If you don't like losing, Edward, you shouldn't play.
I play games with my son, because it's part of a father's duty to help his son.
But he always wins.
That is because he always cheats.
Yeah, and while we're on the subject, I wish you wouldn't wear your saber-toothed tiger skin in front of Robert.
I beg your pardon?
Cheap jokes about the women's movement. I don't want Robert to be known as the only boy in his school whose father still lives in the Stone Age.
Well, Robert will be the only boy in his school who's got a father who hasn't got a ring through his nose.
Oh, how pathetic. Your cup of dinosaur's blood is getting cold.
And I may say there are not many of us left. In fact, I shouldn't imagine there is one between here...
And the Gorilla House in Regent's Park?
I was going to say Rickmansworth. George Gutteridge lives at Rickmansworth.
Not that drunk you brought home last Christmas.
Monica, you are going to be very sorry you said that. George Gutteridge was once mauled by an antelope at a game park. And he hasn't been the same since.
He wasn't the only one who's mauled. You may not know that he snuck into my kitchen and fiddled with a zip on my dress.
Good Lord.
He's all man, is George.
I'm amazed.
Quite.
He usually just pulls it straight down. Oh, what is that?
Probably Brahms.
I didn't know we had people staying with us.
They're playing the clarinet quintet at the end of term.
Don't you think it's a bit late for Brahms? Old silly Knicker's next door, you know. She goes to bed directly after Crossroads. Emotionally spent.
I am not having Robert's practice interrupted.
Any practice is going to make any difference.
What do you mean? Robert's very good.
Oh, yes, compared with some, he's very good. Compared with a real musician, he's a jobbing gardener. Oh, by the way, I'm taking you out Friday evening.
I think you're very unfair. Your own son, where to?
The works.
You are taking me out on Friday evening to the works?
Yes.
Next week, the British Rail Engine Shed, Swindon.
Frankie's giving a little party. Drinks. Nuts.
Oh.
No rabble.
Oh.
As a matter of fact, you know, he's in trouble. My God, we're all in trouble. Princess Grace is falling apart all over the country. Listen, Monica, do you realise that I have unearthed the most ghastly skeleton? I am working for a criminal organisation.
Criminal?
Yes. I mean, apparently everybody knew about it except me. Even Alice knew about it. Monica, we've cooked the books. We have willfully deceived the auditors. You see, that is why I was so angry with Robert, you see, about the cribbage. I mean, it all starts in the home, you see. There you are. One minute you're playing a perfectly harmless game of cribbage, and the next minute, 2 for smelly socks. I really am awfully sorry, Monica. You know, what I said about the women's movement, I didn't mean it. As a matter of fact, you know, I think that Germaine Greer is quite attractive. In fact, I think she's very, very attractive. It's just that I am sick with worry, Monica, sick with worry. Robert will have to be taken away from Rockwood School. No, he will. We'll have to change our name. Do you like Forbes Latimer?
I don't think I know him.
No, I mean, that's our new name.
Oh, Edwin. If you weren't involved, well, you've nothing to be ashamed of. Where does the glue come in?
Ronnie Fairbrass. You see, he could have signed forms for Darlington Only in order to show him that he wasn't actually passed by, you know, that life hadn't passed over him, as it were, there were the goalposts. You see? And that is why there's a lock on the door. Because that's where it is.
The glue.
No, the corrugated iron.
Would you like to come to bed? Hmm?
Why?
Might help to take your mind off things.
Oh, Monica, darling, you know, you really are. You're so loyal.
I wouldn't do it for George Guttridge.
So that any person wishing to wash his hands is confronted with something that looks as though it has been dredged up from the bed of the Ganges.
It's all been settled.
I'm trying to do dictation. Do you mind, Granville?
Yeah, Frank's taken over the matter personally. We shall hear no more about it.
Next letter to Messrs. North Pole Laundry. Dear sir, etc., following complaints about the condition of the roller towel...
What I'm talking about?
No.
Don't you want to know?
No, not much. Following the complaints of the condition of the roller towels, the whole question is now being taken up by our
Bonding
Mr. Johnson.
resin.
What?
Frank's found somewhere to put the resin.
Oh, jolly good. Where?
I can't tell you.
Oh, come on, don't be silly, Granville. I've got to know sometime, haven't I?
No, I can't tell you. Because I don't know.
Why don't you know?
It's Frank's secret.
Oh, my God. Yeah, all right, Alice, you can go. You can go.
Well, Frank says he's licked the problem.
I wish Frank wouldn't keep trying to lick problems. The last time Frank licked a problem, we had the biggest strike of the year. And I wish Frank would help the company by just carrying on normally. You know, going around kicking the furniture, tearing out his hair, not licking.
On the other hand, it's not utterly out of the question that our general manager might have managed just this once to have got it sort of almost right. A bit.
Because it's not inconceivable.
Unlikely.
But not impossible. Well, let's give Frank the benefit of the doubt and hope he hasn't totally screwed it up.
Mr. Blundell's on his way.
Frank's totally screwed it up.
Now, you know what I've heard about, don't you?
No.
We've been broken and entered into. When my members arrived this morning, what did they find? The members' restroom had been stripped. There wasn't a dartboard or a pack of cards to be seen. It was like a robbed tomb.
Good Lord. Have you called the police?
First thing we thought of. And then we saw it. Piled up in the corners.
It?
Resin, Mr. Thornfield. Dozens of tins of bonding resin.
Do you mean to say the robbers try to cover up their tracks with bonding
I
resin?
do not. The dartboards, the dominoes and the darts have now all been discovered in a large plastic bag in the security office.
Mr. Blundell, you are not suggesting that any member of our security staff has nicked it?
Put there, I am informed, on the instructions of Mr. Frank Lazenby.
Oh, dear.
Oh, Lord.
Now, this is a naked act of provocation. I myself, I don't play cards. Apart from a little fortune-telling at Christmas. But my members need all the reassurances that only sport can bring. As I've told you before, Mr. Thornfield, it's hell down there in the bending and pressing.
As he's told me before.
That's why we pressed management for a restroom in the first place. And now this. Well, we're not having it. We want that glue out and the dartboard back. And the shove halfpenny board. And that pin-up of Malcolm Allison. When they're back, we're back. And not before.
You know, there's one thing to be said for Frank. You always know exactly where you are with him. In it, up to here.
There's only one thing that interests me, Edwin, and that is playing the game. I'm not the sort of person to go behind a person's back.
Good Lord, Frank, you were the one who raided the place in the middle of the night. When no one was there.
If I'd done it during working hours, they'd have been furious.
Frank, they are furious.
They'll come to see it my way.
No, Frank, they will not come to see it your way.
Edwin, there's something I think you ought to know. I'm having trouble with Munich.
But, Frank, you always have trouble with
About you.
What?
Now, we all like you, Edwin. Herman thinks you're a credit to the mass-produced furniture trade. An eccentric English gentleman who brings a welcome touch of light relief to every boardroom.
Eccentric? Not eccentric.
They see you as bestowing that dignified lunacy, which, after all, is England's chief contribution to Western civilization. And they're wondering whether they ought to sack you and get a newer model.
What? What have I done, Frank?
Oh, we all like you. In fact, Herman says you're the sort of person that he would like to marry his daughters if you had a job.
Look, Frank, I don't want to be liked by anyone, necessarily, and I certainly don't want to marry Herman's daughters. All I want is to be employed all the time.
Herman wonders whether we really need a labour relations executive. After all, Nero didn't have a labour relations executive when he built the Colosseum.
He didn't need one, he had lions.
Exactly.
Look, Frank, I'm sure I could think of something. Look, how about a hut? We can build a hut, well, a little hut, you know, and then we can move all the resin inside the hut.
Weakness. Giving in to the mob, that is your trouble, Edwin. Frightfully nice and horribly weak. Thank you.
I'll think of something, Frank.
He likes the way you dress. Herman does. Elegantly scruffy.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you. I suppose I'm not too old to start again. I mean, I could sell cars, couldn't I? I mean, you don't need a degree, do you, in Anglo-Saxon poetry to sell cars? Monica, what are you doing?
I'm massaging the back of your neck. That's where the tension starts.
Frank Lazenby's office, that's where the tension starts.
Just relax, Edwin.
How can I relax, Monica? This time next week I'll be emptying dustbins.
I don't think you're up to that, are you?
We'll have to cut down, you know. Oh, yes, all the unessentials have got to go. Robert's clarinet, that'll have to go. Can't have that lying about the house, eating its head off, doing nothing. Monica, that is not the back of my neck.
Don't fight it, Edwin.
Look, why do you choose this particular moment? You've been at the sherry again, have you? Well, that'll have to go. I'm telling you, that'll have to go. No more of that.
I'm just trying to soothe you into a rational, level-headed state of mind. You haven't got the sack yet. Oh, for heaven's sake, relax, Edwin.
You're right. Monica, you're absolutely, as always, right. What the hell does it matter if I get the sack or not? I mean, after all, what is the sack? Just an opportunity to start all over again, isn't it, eh? Oh, yes, of course it is. Tell you what we'll do, we'll go to northern Canada. I can see us now, snowed up in a log cabin, all the way from September to May.
What?
We can lie in bed all day and all night. We need never bother to get up, except for the odd meal and a game of Scrabble.
Edwin, I don't want to be snowed up from September to May.
Do you know, in winter, the sun there never rises at all. And neither would we.
I'm not going to northern Canada. If that is your idea of unemployment, then I'm sorry. Oh, 9 months of that.
Monica, what am I going to do?
You can have a cold bath for a start.
I meant about the resin and Frank. If I don't get this one right, it is snowshoes for 2.
For 1.
All right, one.
Oh, Edwin, it is obvious to me that you are not thinking about this in the right way. Now, what is at the heart of the problem?
The workers.
No.
The glue.
No! The corrugated iron. Now, if you solve that problem, you're home and dry.
You know, Monica, when I was a little boy, I had a pet hen called Tarzan. I used to keep it in my pajama case. Then one day the tortoise attacked it. Anyway, we took it to the vet. Vet said, don't worry. He said, it's just emotional. It's love, not hate.
What on earth are you talking about,
it's like us. It is a bit like us, Monica, isn't it? It really is. I mean, you know, I get all upset with Robert about you know, the game of cards, and then you stick up for him, and then I say, there you are, so it all starts in the home, and that's why I'm a member of a criminal organisation, and we couldn't even pay them to take the stuff away. Couldn't pay them to... That might work. My God, that might work.
Edwin, I wasn't serious about the cold bath.
I've just telephoned Mr. Blundell.
But it's nearly midnight.
You know, I think you would have done extremely well in business.
Oh. No, I haven't got the brains.
Of course you have. Must take brains to run an orchestra.
Oh, it's not actually an orchestra, Frank. It's an art gallery, really.
How amusing.
I think I've left it rather late to start a career in industry.
Why? You're only a girl.
Oh, Mr. Lazenby.
Call me Frankie.
They never have parties like this in Germany.
Who does?
In England, it is much more, what is the word?
Boring.
Permissive, isn't it?
Certainly not.
Now tell me, you could run labour relations, couldn't you?
Could I? Where?
Here. After all, it doesn't take a towering intellectual
Here,
to
but
run
that is
labour.
Edwin's job.
Whose?
What is that comical noise?
Oh, funny noise. Oh, that's probably just Frank's hi-fi equipment, you know.
Sounds like blankets of iron.
After all, you're not planning to have any more family, are you?
Well, I don't really know.
I mean, Edwin doesn't still... Does he?
It is now company policy to employ more women.
What?
They are like Japanese. They never go on strike.
No. Oh, no. No, but they have babies, don't they?
So do men.
Men have babies?
To look after. In Germany, it is the responsibility of both the parents.
Oh, jawohl, mein Liebchen. Yeah, but I mean, you see, men don't actually get pregnant, do they? Well, in Great Britain, they don't get pregnant, do they?
What is that damn crowd?
Sorry.
What is...
Where Herr Lazenby is going to take me tonight. Perhaps we should all go dancing.
Oh, yes, he's a very good dancer. Frank, Hildegard wants you to take her dancing.
Take her what?
Dancing.
How much longer is that humorous noise to continue?
I couldn't agree more.
I think it's stopped.
You know, I can't understand what's going on down there. We're supposed to be on strike. There's not much can be said for a strike, except that it is blessedly quiet.
Hermann Gottlieb is working on a plan to have an all-female labor force throughout Hoffman Pressburgers.
What is the bending and pressing shop?
Factory floor and administration.
Administration?
Of course.
So, what happens to the men? What? Oh, right. Excuse me, Frank, I'll be back in a minute.
What?
Oh, God. How'd it go? It's all gone. Every last piece. Jolly good. Grand job, Granville.
Here's the money.
Thank you. What did Blundell say?
He said if we put the resin back first thing Monday morning, it'll be business as usual.
Well, that's no good. I want them back to work.
That's what he meant.
Oh, yes. Yes, I see. I see there's a heck of a lot of money here.
It's all in 10p pieces.
Anyway, I'll buy yourself a cup of tea. Listen, all this is going to the Workers' Benevolent Fund. And that is one in the eye for Blundell, eh? Oh, they won't miss that. Cheers.
But I thought no one wanted the corrugated iron.
Well, they didn't, not at first. I mean, you couldn't give it away. Everybody assumed it was nasty, useless rubbish.
And you turned it into nice, useful rubbish.
I transformed it. Then I sold it.
People paid you money for it. Who?
The workforce. 10p a sheet. Pick it up yourself, take it away, no questions asked.
What are they going to use it for?
Air raid shelters.
I beg your pardon.
Yeah, it's just the thing for you. Fall out, what's it, under the stairs? Get a couple of sheets of that and all your worries are over. Well, mine are anyway. They'll all be back at work on Monday.
You monster.
What? Beg your pardon?
I've never heard of anything so dishonest, so despicable in my entire life. These poor, wretched men giving up their hard-earned money for a load of rubbish just so that you can ingratiate yourself with Hoffman Pressburger and that frightful woman. Don't think that I didn't see you because I did.
Oh, look,
And
honestly,
you
Monica.
had nerve to criticize Robert. If he grows up into some sort of mafia hitman, we'll know who to thank, won't we? The wretched communist